So you really think they're going to make it in?
I want you to honestly tell me.
You heard it.
That you think they are going to.
You think that's crazy? Wait till I get to the rest of it.
I'm already confused by this.
If that happens, the college football world will explode.
Get ready.
I need everybody's undivided attention. Stop what you're doing. I don't care what it is. It's college football playoff prediction day at Crain & Company. Put it together.
So
Let's
excited.
go. So today, we are picking who makes the college football playoff, how they get there, who wins the national title, and who wins the Heisman.
Heisman, y'all.
We are a mere 2 sleeps. Well, two sleeps.
I can't count.
Two sleeps away from college football. Former Michigan quarterback David Cohn to my left. Former Western State Colorado wide receiver Blaine Crain to my right. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and do it, because you're going to want to lock your ass in for this one. We're shutting the gates. We're burning the boats. We're taking some chances. All right, it's a fantastic day here at Crain & Company. Thank you guys for watching. And remember, without you, there is no us. Check out all the previews that we have underneath the channel. We gave our SEC and Big Ten conference winners, how every team's going to finish there. We're going to dive into the ACC and Big 12 on this one as well to let you know who wins it. But guys, 12-team college football playoff. Before we reveal it, and in the comments, I want to know who you have winning the national championship and the Heisman. But David, I want to ask you first, before we reveal this to everybody.
Ask me.
Because we each have individual ones. How do you feel about your pick?
Oh, I already hate it.
You hate it already?
Yeah. But 5 minutes ago, I loved it. And 5 minutes from now, I'm going to love it
For
again,
sure.
Okay, because I got some answers in here that I think you guys are going to want to hear.
Blaine, how dangerous are you feeling right now?
Well, I always feel dangerous, to be honest. I mean, if I'm sitting at 6 on a blackjack and the dealer's showing 18, I usually stay. That's how dangerous I am.
You like to live dangerous.
Coming from a guy who picked the national champion last year correctly, I mean, obviously, I feel great walking into this year.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't I?
Okay.
Why wouldn't I, Dave?
Okay.
Huh? The genius of here. I'm like that guy.
We picked it
What's
the year
his name?
before, right?
Who writes something on a card and then like has a 30-minute
Don't make me bring up
Rain
what
Man.
I want to bring up.
You're Rain Man.
Yeah,
Don't make me bring up what I want to
Yeah, you're Rain
We
Man.
all know it. I've talked about it enough out there.
I can't believe you haven't brought up SMU.
Yeah,
yet.
that pick clears. It clears. All right, so here's how we're going to do it. We're going to go one by one. We're going to tell you who gets in the college football playoff and where they're seated, and we're going to go around and tell you that. Then we're going to come back, I'll start, and I'll tell you who wins what game, who wins the national championship, and we're going to go around here. So I'm going to start out, and I'm going to go 12-1.
Okay.
Representing the group of 5, Dan Mullen. Back in the head coaching.
way.
UNLV. We know how it's going out there. They got Calandria and Alex Orji. Both are going to play. You look at the schedule, I know they got to go to Boise State. But I tell you what, I look at Boise State's schedule. I think there's at least 2 losses on there. I think UNLV wins the Mountain West. I like the way this team is put together. I think they are the 12 seed heading into the college football playoff. At 11, what?
Well, I was just going to ask, do you think they have enough signature wins on that schedule for them to come?
I think there's a decent chance they go undefeated, but I believe the winner of that conference, that's going to be the 5th highest rated conference.
Okay.
That's what I believe. Now, you look at Boise State. I'm telling
So hold on. So because Boise State plays UNLV.
at home. They get them at home.
Boise State also goes to Notre Dame.
And they also go to South Florida week 1. I'm telling you, watch out for that one with the group that
So Boise State gets UNLV at Boise State.
Yes, they go play in the blue turf. Listen, Ashton Genty was a monster last year. Boise State doesn't have him. Not that it's going to be bad, or that Maddox is bad. I like Maddox a lot. But I look at this UNLV team. Dan Mullen hadn't been in a while. I like the way they're put together. I think UNLV will be the group of 5 representative at 12. At 11, went back and forth on this one, boys. I got 9-3 Texas getting in. 9-3 Texas as the last at-large bid that is taken. Again, no 9-3 team made it last year in the SEC. That was a big question mark. I've actually got a 9-3 Texas making it in over a 10-2 Notre Dame.
Wow.
And the reason, and before everybody says, well, Notre Dame's a big brand. The way I have it working out is I have Notre Dame losing to A&M and then at Pitt, the third to last game of the year. So if that were to happen, you better hope Miami, because I don't have Miami making the playoff. I think Miami goes 9-3. I've got them beating Miami, but that's not a quality win. I don't have Boise as the group of 5 team in there. So that's not going to be this super quality win. I've got them beating USC, but I got USC going 7-5. So there's really no quality win for Notre Dame. Meanwhile, the way I have Texas finishing, they lose to Georgia the third to last weekend, but I've got Georgia obviously in the playoff, and then I've got them beating Texas A&M, who I've got going 9-3, which that will be a ranked matchup, so that will be a better look. And again, Notre Dame doesn't play a conference championship game. I think the Arch Manning
You
factor,
don't think the playoff committee is going to put Notre Dame in?
Well, when you look at Texas and Arch Manning, I think that's one of the only narratives that could keep Notre Dame out. And another reason is, and I'll get to this, the Big 12 is a little wonky for me.
Do you have any other 10-2 teams right now across the country who aren't in?
No.
Okay, so the only 10-2 teams.
Not Power 5, not Power 4.
Sure, yeah. Okay. So Notre Dame's the only one.
Yeah, so Notre Dame's the only one, which Miami was last year, remember?
Yes.
The way that ended.
Yep.
All right, number 10, I've got Washington at 10-2. 7-2 in the Big Ten.
They gassed you up yesterday.
Told you yesterday they're going to, but a 10-2, 7-2 team in the Big Ten is getting in. A 10-2 Big Ten team is getting in. I've got Washington as the 10 seed. Then at the 9 seed, I've got Kansas State from the Big 12. And I actually have Kansas State losing the Big 12 championship game, but I've got them going 11-1 during the regular season. And to be honest with you, this was the one that made me nervous about not putting 10-2 Notre Dame.
Okay, so you have you have two Big 12
I've got two Big 12 teams getting in there. And there's only one way this can work out, because I've got Kansas State going 11-1 during the regular season. I've got their only loss on the road at Baylor, but then I've got Utah also.
Hold on. Their only
loss at Utah. I'm sorry. Kansas State's only loss is at Utah. So I've got them going 11-1. Then I've got Utah going 11-1.
Let me guess their loss.
Go ahead.
At Baylor.
That's exactly right. So I've got both these teams 11-1. I've got Texas Tech at 10-2, but I can't put 3 Big 12 teams in here. So I've got them playing, and I've got Utah beating Kansas State in the regular season. I've got them playing again in the Big 12 title. Both teams are 11-1. And I've got Utah beating Kansas State again to go to 12-1, and Kansas State going to 11-2, but Kansas State still getting in because of that overall record. And I think there's going to be some quality wins in the Big 12 that Kansas State's going to have. I've got them beating Baylor on the road. I've got them beating Texas Tech at home. Again, that only loss is to Utah. So I've got Kansas State in there at 9. At 8, I've got 10-2 and 7-2 Penn State as the 8 seed. I've got Oklahoma at 10-2 coming out of the SEC as the 7 seed. I've got Michigan.
And Oklahoma's 10-2.
Oklahoma's 10-2.
And Penn State's record was
10-2.
But didn't make the Big Ten championship.
Didn't make the Big Ten championship game. And Oklahoma didn't make the SEC championship game in mind. At 6, I have Michigan. Remember, I've got Michigan playing Ohio State and losing after beating them, and their overall record will be 10-3 overall, but they're still going to get in because they played in that Big Ten championship game. Went a little bit back and forth with how the seeding would work out, but I don't think that the committee would penalize them for losing the Big Ten championship game and putting them behind Penn State. So I got Michigan at 6. At 5, Big 12 championship winner, 12-1, Utah. Kyle Whittingham.
12-1.
12-1 after winning the Big 12 title. I've got Utah as the 5 seed. So they play the 12, which would be UNLV. At 4.
Hold on one second on Utah, just from a seeding, because I struggled with some of my seeding as well. Remember, y'all out there, the seeding is different this year.
Yeah.
You don't win your conference and get an automatic bye as one of those first 4
Which is how it should be.
The highest rank this year, which is different. So, Jake, if you have Utah at 5, which you have them beating Kansas State twice and winning the conference, so I understand that. But if that lone loss at Baylor is coming as late as November 15th, do you think that would knock them down below some of these other brand name teams?
I don't, because they won the Big 12.
Okay.
Because they won the Big 12 and had to play that extra game and play Kansas State again and beat them at 12. And again, I mean, you look at Utah's schedule, it's, there's some quality wins that can be stacked there, and I don't think Baylor's going to be bad at all. I don't think that Baylor loss is going to be looked at like some of these other losses late in the year. So at 4, I've got Alabama. Remember, I got Alabama 11-1 regular season, losing to 10-2 Georgia in the SEC championship. But here's where the change, David, that you brought up in the seeding is different. I have Alabama at 11-2 overall as the number 4 seed, so they get the bye. At number 3, coming out of the ACC, I've got Clemson. I've got Clemson going 11-1. losing at South Carolina the last regular season game, but that still doesn't knock them out of the top 4 because I've got them beating LSU week 1. I think LSU is going to be solid, but I've got them winning the ACC title game over Louisville.
Really?
Wow. What do you have Miami at?
Over Louisville. I got Miami.
So Clemson would beat Louisville November 15th.
Yep.
And then play them again in the ACC.
Play them again in the ACC title game. Yep, because remember, there are no more divisions. Then number 2, the SEC champion at 11-2 after beating Bama, Georgia. I don't have them number 1 because I have Ohio State at 12-1, winning the Big Ten title over Michigan after losing to Michigan in their only regular season loss the game before. So Ohio State is the number 1 overall seed, boys. Again, I went back and forth. The hardest thing for me was 10-2 Notre Dame.
Yeah.
It was 10-2 Notre Dame because I don't think they get in over Washington with the wins that Washington will have at 10-2, 7-2 out of the Big Ten. It's the Big 12 teams. I know having 2 Big 12 teams in there, or really having 2 ACC teams in there, is a little bit different than what most people will have, but I don't think they would definitely not keep out and couldn't keep out a 12-1 Utah who wins the Big 12. And then Kansas State at 11-2 with their only 2 losses coming to the number 5 overall seed with wins against Texas Tech, wins against some of the teams we got.
So you wouldn't get punished for losing your conference.
I do not think the committee will punish you for losing your conference.
What if you pick up your 4th loss?
But see, I think you'd have to win it anyway there. I think it takes out of the committee's hands.
So you have 4 SEC teams, 4 Big Ten teams, no Notre Dame. 2 Big 12s in ACC, and then the group of 5.
That's what I got.
Okay, so on the seeding point, really quick, you have the Buckeyes going 11-0, losing on the road to Michigan, avenging that loss the next week in the Big Ten championship game. Whereas Georgia, you have losing how many regular season games? 2, and then they win the SEC.
I've got Georgia losing to Auburn and Florida, beating Alabama at home.
You think a 2-loss SEC championship is going to be higher seeded than a 1-loss ACC champion in Clemson?
Yes, because Clemson lost to South Carolina the last game.
So late in the year?
Yeah, and Georgia, their last loss is at Florida, and then they beat Alabama. I'm telling you right now, the winner of the SEC and the Big Ten are going to be 1-2. You can go ahead and unless Clemson just goes undefeated.
Well, get ready for mine.
Unless Clemson goes undefeated.
Get ready for mine.
Unless Clemson goes undefeated, and then Clemson will probably be the number 1 overall.
Okay.
But I don't have.
Is this a good segue to mine then?
All right, here we go. Can I just go through the matchups real quick? All right, so the 8-9 game. Guys, look at these games. How sick would these be? Penn State, Kansas State. Now, this would be at Penn State.
Yeah.
You'd have Kansas, remember, first round's home game. You got Kansas State going to Penn State. You've had UNLV going to Utah in the 12-5 game. You'd have Washington going to Oklahoma in the 7-10 game. And then you'd have Texas going to Michigan in a rematch of last year.
I saw that one last year.
With Arch Manning. And then the winner of Kansas State, Penn State's going to get Ohio State. You can maybe get that Penn State-Ohio State rematch. The winner of Utah, UNLV will get Bama. The winner of Oklahoma, Washington will get Georgia. And the winner of Michigan, Texas will get Clemson.
Okay.
God, I'm so ready for kickoff. It's permeating through my body.
All right.
I'm vibrating right now, David.
Bring up my bracket, please. Bring up my bracket. You want me to go in the same order here?
You go in the same. You do you,
Group of 5. Group of 5 team at number 12, the Naval Academy.
Stop.
Navy.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Stop it. Hold on.
Hey,
I got to pull up this schedule. Hold on. I got
two words, one name. Blake Horvath. You heard it here.
Oh, yeah, Blake's nice with it. Blake's nice.
Hey, you saw what they did to Army.
You Horvath.
Yeah, exactly. Naval Academy. Move over, Roger Staubach. Okay, Blake Horvath's coming this season.
So, I mean, obviously the biggest game in their schedule is at Notre Dame.
At Notre Dame.
So go through it real quick.
Okay, so you have VMI at home, UAB at home, at Tulsa, spell that backwards, Rice at home, Air Force at home, at Temple, FAU at home, at North Texas, at Notre Dame, South Florida at home, at Memphis. Then obviously you play Army.
You got them 11-1?
Here's the thing, though.
You got them 11-1?
The conference championship game, remember, with Army-Navy, that American League championship game is before you play Army on December 13th, which is after the selection committee. Again, we were talking last season about how weird that is. I don't know how that would affect one of the service academies. Or Army and Navy were both sort of in the running throughout the year. Yeah. Notre Dame kind of beat up on them pretty good. But this season, you said, South Florida, you get at home.
Yep.
Very winnable games with the schedule. A lot of returning players. You're returning a quarterback who's so dynamic in the run game and really through the air. Boise State last year lost to Oregon. by 3 points.
3 points. So you just
Didn't
need
keep
to
them
close.
out. They were able to sneak in. If you can go on the road to Notre Dame, who Boise State has to go on the road to Notre Dame and play as well, if you can go on the road and keep that game close or even figure out a way to win it, that's a manageable schedule, and someone from the group of 5 has to make it. So right now,
Okay, I don't mind it.
Also, how much would America love to have
I
one of
would
the
love
service
it.
academies
I would
make the
love it.
college
It'd be
football
awesome.
playoff?
Yeah, I would love it.
All right, number 11 seed.
All right, boys, we are getting toward the end of summer. We know it's still rainy season. We're getting ready for tailgating season for college football, which it still rains. We all know that. And if you're a person that has to be in the rain at any point, whether it's light rain or heavy rain, you need to check out our friends over at Bearskin. They're sponsoring today's episode. Now, they sent us their heavy storm rain jacket and hoodie combo, tested it out over the pond in Ireland. Surprise, it works. It works amazingly. And we can say it's the best 3-in-1 rain jacket that we've ever owned. It folds into its own stash pocket, takes up almost no space in your backpack. It's a total game changer, and it's fully waterproof. It's got tape seams, silicone sealed zips, say that 5 times fast, adjustable cuffs, and a hood designed to keep water away from that beautiful money-making face you got. It's got 5 waterproof pockets to keep all your gear dry, so whether you're hiking, fishing, tailgating, or whatever, if you're caught in the storm, you're not caught in a bad place, because the Bearskin hoodie, well, it turns into a 3-in-1 all-weather system. Your fleece stays warm and dry underneath, while you stay comfortable and protected on the outside. Again, we've tested it. It's amazing. It's a fantastic product. You need it. Plus, you'll get fast delivery and free shipping within the U.S. when you order. To get yours for 60% off, text Crain, that's C-R-A-I-N, to 36912. Even if you're busy, text C-R-A-I-N to 36912, and they'll send you a link so you can get that discount. So go outdoors, rain or shine, and you make sure you got your Bearskin. Text Crain to 36912 and get 60% off.
Oregon. We talked about this yesterday. 10-2. I don't think they play in the Big Ten championship game, but a 10-2 Oregon is going to make the college football playoff. This gets me to number 10. Again, Illinois. Brett Bielema, knocking on the door a season ago. Luke Altmaier returning at quarterback. I think 10-2 would get it done. They beat the Buckeyes in the regular season.
Wait, David, do you have Navy going 11-1? I'm sorry. Do you have Navy going 11-1?
Yes.
Okay.
They would have to.
Yeah, gotcha.
Right? But is that 11-1 including a conference championship win and you get selected before you have to play Army? That's what's weird about it, right?
They need to.
So by the time you play a playoff game, are you 12-1? That's going to be weird how that works itself out. Number 9, Baylor. The Baylor Bears right now.
Really?
I have winning the Big 12. I actually have Baylor beating Kansas State in the Big 12 championship game to be the lone Big 12 representative, and they would be the 9 seed there.
What do you got to do in week 1?
Week 1, I have them losing to Auburn.
Good for you.
I have Baylor losing to Auburn, losing at TCU. They go 10-2 in the regular season, and they beat Kansas State in the Big 12 title game.
Okay.
That's one of my riskier picks there. You guys think that one's crazy?
No, I do not.
Look, the Big 12, the Big 12's wide.
I'm so excited.
And there
to
can be
watch.
carnage enough to where the winner of the Big 12 is the 9 seed. Where like that, people are going to be like, "There's no way a team's going 11-1 in the Big 12." Okay,
Well,
and I know I got 2 of them.
I'm so excited to watch Sawyer Robertson play football
he's
this
nice.
year. I do have Utah at 10-2, not making the college football playoff. So a 10-2 team not making it because at the end of the year, their weeks it would be 10-11. At Baylor, a loss, and then Kansas State, a loss. Keeps them out of the Big 12 championship game. Michigan, the 8 seed right now, losing at Oklahoma. Going 11-1, making it to the Big Ten title game, losing to Penn State in the Big 12 title game. On the flip side of that, the Buckeyes, the 7 seed right there, losing to Michigan, but has that win over Texas early in the year. This is where someone could push back on me on the seeding. You could say, well, actually, Michigan, having beaten the Buckeyes at the end of the year and making the Big Ten championship game, they would remain a higher seed at 7, and it would be the Buckeyes at 8, which they were a year ago when they hosted Tennessee and won the
So you think
national
they'll punish
championship.
Michigan for losing the conference
I think
game
they
to Penn
will.
State?
They could put Michigan at 7 if this scenario happened. They could. But I think they would look at the schedule for Michigan and say the Buckeyes played a little tougher of a schedule, and they'll reward the Texas win at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And again, at 7 and 8, you're splitting hairs. Remember a year ago, we didn't know if Tennessee would be 8 or if the Buckeyes would be 9, how it was going to work. So anyway, where am I at? Number 6, Alabama. Alabama going 10-2 in the regular season, losses at Georgia, and have a loss at South Carolina, which keeps them out of the SEC championship game, but does not keep them out of the college football playoff. Primed right there in a
Lanning versus
6-11
DeBoer.
matchup. Yeah. Prime right there. 6-11 Alabama taking on Oregon, which gets me to the 5 seed Georgia, who will make the conference championship game, 11-1 regular season, but loses that rematch to Texas, who wins the SEC championship game, which puts them at the 4 seed. They avenged that loss to Georgia, but they lost to them in the regular season. 3 seed Penn State, I already said, beats Michigan for the Big Ten title game. All right, but they suffer a loss on the road in Columbus, so that's why they're at 3. And then this gets me to the 1 and 2 seeds, which you said it'd be crazy not to have the SEC. And
You're
Big
crazy,
1,
man.
You have neither.
just keep up with me here. The losses I have for Notre Dame is week 3 against Texas A&M, and then winning out and not playing in a conference title game.
Okay.
The loss that I have right now for Clemson, week 3 at Georgia Tech, winning out and then winning the ACC championship game against Miami. Beating Miami, which means you would have reeled off, all the way from September. Those 2 teams were
and
on
beat
winning
LSU
streaks.
to open the year.
And would have a win over LSU. Again, the seeding to me is based off when was the last time you lost, because it's going to come down to rankings. That's why I have the seeding the way I have. If I have something wrong here that you guys don't agree with, please tell me.
No, my only question is, you've got Notre Dame going 11-1, right?
Yes.
All right, you got Penn State going what?
11-1 and
winning
12-1.
So do you think Penn State, as the Big Ten champion, would get in over Notre Dame or be the 2 seed over Notre Dame because they played that extra conference game?
It's a fair question, but I have Penn State's lone loss happening after Notre Dame.
Okay, so it's timing.
I think that loss on the road in Columbus in the Horseshoe would put them behind a Notre Dame team who lost weeks before, and then they won't be able to catch up.
Yeah. The funny part is not that it matters, because you're on the same side of the bracket and you're probably gonna have to play Ohio State or Bama.
If you're Navy, welcome to the playoffs. You get Georgia.
Yeah.
Well, look.
Hey, listen.
What, do you not want to make it?
If you're Navy, listen. We totally respect what you do. Here's Georgia. Let's get back to making sure the Russian submarines aren't where they're not supposed to be.
All right, can we go ahead and pull up what it's actually going to be? What it's actually going to be.
Let's look at this carnival.
I love when it comes to my group of 5 picks. Let's get a little naughty.
Oh, no way!
Light the candle, baby.
No.
Jason Candle at Toledo.
The Mac.
Look, come on, baby. I love the Mac.
Hold on. Undefeated?
I love it.
Undefeated. Maybe 1 loss.
Beating Kentucky.
They're 2 games right now. They're 2 big games on their schedule.
They got to go undefeated.
It's Kentucky and Washington State.
They got to go undefeated.
Where do they play those teams?
At Kentucky.
And Washington State.
And that's fine,
at
though.
Washington State. Well, look, hey, you bring back Gleason, who I think is an absolute dog.
No,
you bring back 15 starters, one of the best secondary. Right now, you're favored to win the MAC. I'm just telling you, not a lot of people.
Toledo's always got some dudes in the secondary.
Got some transfers in that aren't bad, so we'll see. All right, so number 11.
I love that pick. Back it up.
Number 11. Shout out Beamer, baby. South Carolina Gamecocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coming in at 9-3.
So 9-3, South Carolina gets
9-3, South Carolina gets in. They have their big win's going to be over Oklahoma. They've lost Alabama, LSU, and I have to go look at the last loss is going to be at Clemson.
Okay, so that's 2. So
that's playoff team.
Okay, those are playoff teams.
Okay,
outside of LSU.
Yeah, outside of LSU, and what I had trouble with was it came down to them or Michigan. Okay,
what was Michigan?
9-3. With losses to Oklahoma, who South Carolina beat, losses to Michigan State and Ohio State.
That Michigan State loss.
And you have South Carolina at what?
9-3.
Also 9-3?
Yeah, 9-3. So that Michigan State loss is what's going to take Michigan out of that. And then my 10 seed, Notre Dame. Okay. I also have them going 10-2. I have them losing to Texas A&M, and I have them losing to USC. And I also have USC going 8-4, 7-5. I have to go back and look at it. But I do think just Notre Dame being the brand that Notre Dame is, I think the playoff committee is going to put them in, because at the end of the day, why wouldn't they?
It's Notre Dame.
It's number 9, Kansas State, my only Big 12 team. I got one Big 12 team.
So we both have Kansas State as
I have one Big 12 team. I think they have 1 loss. I think they finished 12-1.
Okay.
And win the Big 12. All right, number 8. Congratulations, Kansas State. You get to play Georgia.
Yeah.
All right, I got Georgia 10-2, losing to Florida and Alabama. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Georgia. They're still going to get in. And the more I go in here, the more SEC teams you'll see. But it's not SEC bias. I just think that's the way it's going to be.
But they don't play in the SEC championship game?
No, they do not. Okay, number 7, Alabama.
Okay.
All right, Alabama also coming in at 10-2. I have them losing to Auburn, and their second loss being
Georgia.
I have them beating Georgia.
Oklahoma. You picked Oklahoma to
right?
beat them.
I have Oklahoma to beat them, so that's the reason why Alabama.
Who's in your SEC championship game again?
Texas and Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
Yeah.
Red River rematch.
Yeah, so I got Bama at 7.
Psycho.
All right, this was just talked about. Let's go down to 6. I got Oklahoma. I got Oklahoma going 10-2 during the regular season, also losing to South Carolina and Texas, and they're going to play Texas in the SEC championship and lose. All right, but they're not going to get punished for that, in my opinion. So I think at 10-3, Oklahoma is going to sit there at 6.
And that's why you have them ahead of Alabama.
Absolutely, because they beat Alabama and Alabama beat Georgia.
And
so let's go down to 5. I got the Oregon Ducks. All right, I have Oregon going 11-1 during the season. Their only loss being at Penn State. You can say what you want. Dante Moore, new quarterback. Bo Nix is in there. Dylan Gabriel is in there. They don't have that 5 years of experience, but I promise you, they don't get talked about enough because they're in the Big Ten and basically live in Iraq all the way out west. So they're not really baked into everything the Big Ten talks about.
Oregon doesn't get talked about enough?
But not in the Big Ten. Not as much as other Big Ten teams.
That's amazing because nobody will shut the hell up about it.
All right, let's go 4. All right, let's go 4. I got Penn State here. All right, I got Penn State going 11-1 during the regular season. I have them losing to Ohio State.
So 11-2 overall.
11-2 overall and losing to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. Then my only ACC team is Clemson at 3. Wouldn't be surprised if Clemson go undefeated, but I do have them losing to LSU week 1. All right, and then absolutely running the table in the SEC in the ACC. So give me Clemson at 3. Then Ohio State at 2, winning the Big Ten. Their only loss to Texas week 1. Sorry, Dave. I think they go in the big house and beat y'all this year. Sorry, not sorry. And then my number 1 seed, baby.
You love
them Longhorns.
You love Arch
now.
so much.
Them Longhorns. Just be honest about it.
You're
all
in
right?
deep L with
Eli
Arch.
Manning, dog. Peyton Manning, dog. Archie Manning, dog. Y'all think Arch is just going to be the one that forgets? Hell no, I don't. And you look at the roster around him, absolute killer.
So you got Texas going 12-1.
I got Texas going 12.
Do you have them losing
to Georgia. That's right. I have them losing to Georgia at Georgia. Still the monster under the bed is Kirby Smart. So right now, those are my matchups, and we're going to go through.
Guys, from personal experience, starting a podcast, it can be overwhelming. Kind of like when your in-laws and your side of the family has to come for Thanksgiving.
Oh,
We all know how overwhelming that can be.
Alabama.
You got scripts, you got setup, filming, schedule, logos. We were trying to figure all of it out, but we found out when you're launching something new, your to-do list grows daily, and finding a tool that both helps and simplifies, that can be a total game changer. And for millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Make that noise, Blaine.
Chishing!
That was a weird way to do it, but it worked.
How is that a weird way to do it?
That was very to do it.
Wow.
Shopify powers millions of businesses worldwide and 10% off US e-commerce. They're behind everyone from big names like Gymshark to that brand new podcast you just discovered like Crain Company that you love so much and are going to watch every day. Starting out is simple. Just pick one of their hundreds of templates and customize it to match your style. No design skills needed. You want to create content? It's where the AI shines. Need product descriptions or catchy headlines? They've got you covered. You want better photos? Done. But the best part is how easy marketing becomes. You can reach your customers wherever they are, whether they're doom scrolling through social media or checking their email. And behind the scenes, Shopify handles everything else: inventory, shipping, returns, all those details you don't want to worry about. So if you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. So turn your big business idea, David, into
Cha-ching, we rich!
That's how we do it right there. David's from the streets. If you
What is that?
With Shopify on your side, sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Crain. That's shopify.com/Crain. All right, you go. Hey, so go ahead through yours right here.
Hold on. So 5 SEC teams, 3 Big Ten teams, Notre Dame, 1 each from ACC, Big 12, and then your group of
Blaine
5.
said no SEC bias. Watch this.
Yeah. Look, it's what it's going to be. All right, y'all ready to go through? Are we going through the whole thing?
Yeah, you go through your whole thing right here.
All right, we'll go with the 12-5 matchup to start it off. Toledo, great story. We all had a great year. Jason Candle, maybe coach of the year. Hell, who knows? But Oregon's going to absolutely murder y'all for 4 quarters. All right, that's going to be the first one. Welcome to playoff. You get your ass beat. All right, let's go to that 11-6. Oklahoma, South Carolina. And I tell you what, I had South Carolina winning this game.
You did.
In the regular season, beating Oklahoma. But where's this game going to be?
Spain's going to beat Oklahoma.
This game's going to be at Oklahoma, and I think John Mateer will be the difference in this game. Boomer Sooner. Great job for Coach Beamer. You made the playoffs.
Yeah.
You did it. I mean,
Building
we're excited about a lot of things.
Building up.
All right, let's go to that 10-7 game. That's Notre Dame, Alabama. Notre Dame, great story. Good year, but I think Alabama has too much on both sides of the ball, and I think they're just a better team at the end of the day. So I got Bama winning that game against Notre Dame. Then Kansas State, Georgia. Avery Johnson, I think Kansas State, a lot of people don't think there's going to be only one loss.
Are they a great story?
In the Big 12, shitty story, to be honest. Welcome to it. You get to face Georgia in the playoffs, and I promise you that is an absolute different beast. I have Georgia beating Kansas State.
Dude, so hold on. Your matchups, we've got, listen to if we get this, David. You got Oregon, Penn State, Big Ten matchup.
Hold on, you don't have Toledo?
Close.
Yeah.
Close to what the experts say.
Georgia, Texas, SEC matchup. Bama, Ohio State. And then Oklahoma, Clemson.
Wow.
Does
God,
it
I love
get
this
any
sport
better?
Two of those
so
will
much.
be rematches.
I love this
I don't know
sport
if you
so
can
much.
paint a better picture, Dave.
All right, anyway.
Tell me this in what the committee wants.
Yeah, continue with
All
your
right,
thing.
Oregon, Penn State. I got Penn State winning this football game.
Okay.
I think the
So you got Penn State beating Oregon twice.
right?
Okay.
I think the physicality of Penn State, and I don't think Singleton gets talked about enough. If there wasn't two of them at the running back position, I think he'd be good enough to win the Heisman. I got Penn State beating Oregon. Then let's go to that 3-6 matchup, Clemson versus Oklahoma. And damn, this was tough to pick.
Yeah.
I hope y'all realize how high I am on John Mateer. If you watch John Mateer play, he's an absolute dog. But this is the Clemson team of old. All right? You got the quarterback.
Okay.
You look at the skill positions. You got a couple guys. Antonio Williams is going to be a problem. But that defense, that box is what would be the difference for Clemson this year. Just like when they played against Bama back in the day. That I think Clemson wins this football game.
Okay.
And then Bama, Ohio State. I went back and forth on this.
Mm-hmm.
I went back and forth on this. I mean, and the one thing that pushed me over the edge for Bama to win this game is the jury's still out in the coordinators for Ohio State.
Yeah.
Okay. And obviously, I think you could get probably 2 blind kids right now to go be coordinators at Ohio State, and you'll probably make the playoffs with the talent that you have.
Blind kids?
Is that what they
Blind, like you
Yeah.
can't see. That's what blind means, okay? Jeremiah Smith, with the things they have running around out there, probably have the 2 best players in the country, but I think Alabama is a more complete team.
Okay.
Okay, so I got Bama beating Ohio State.
Wow. So you
Okay.
got Bama, Clemson in the semis.
Yeah.
That gives me a semi.
Well, guess what? I'm about to give you a full. Let's go. Let's go Georgia, Texas. Let's go Georgia, Texas. All right. Monster under the bed. Right? That's what Kirby Smart is to Texas. All right? He's the reason why the Texas runs up the stairs fast when you turn off the lights. Okay? But finally, Texas gets over the hump and beats Georgia. All right, close. Arch Manning breaks a couple tackles
Like
in the
that,
backfield.
just like that.
Oh, get off me, right? Gets a big
Hopefully
third
not
down.
like that.
Big third down to ice it. All right, so this is what we got. We got Texas versus Penn State.
Okay.
The semis. What everybody dreamed of. All right? I'm taking Arch Manning over Drew Aller.
Yeah, I would too.
I'm taking Arch Manning over
would
Drew
too.
Aller. Drew Aller did not play.
Are Penn State fans happy with a Big Ten title
No!
and a trip to
No.
the Final Four?
No, they're not.
They will be when they get to mine.
Yeah, they're not happy. They want a national championship, but sorry, James Franklin, shit ain't happening. All right, let's go to the other side. Okay, we have Bama versus Clemson. God, you remember these
so
days?
Back before
Wow.
Deshaun.
You remember these
back,
days?
back before Deshaun was getting
The
those
talent,
massages.
the talent that
He was
was
getting
running
them, too.
around on
Yeah.
the field when your worst,
Adam Kamei's talent.
player was Justin Ross. I remember those days.
Yeah.
I think the quarterback position is going to be the difference in this game. All right, so that's why I'm picking Clemson to beat.
Wow.
Cade Klubnik,
Okay.
I think the box is going to be on defense. Their front 7 on Clemson is going to be extremely good. All right, and I think Ty Simpson is just not going to be able to overtake what Cade does in this football game. So right now, my national championship is Texas versus Clemson.
Woo!
And, I was over at my brother's place last night, and I just couldn't decide.
You were going
Two
back.
great
He
teams.
was
Texted David.
struggle bus.
Texted David to see who he had winning. And Jake said something to me that kind of resonated. He was like, look, if Arch Manning and Texas are already at the national championship,
Yeah.
that means Arch Manning's for real.
Yeah.
And I thought about that. So with that said, hook 'em horns,
Wow.
baby!
Okay.
Texas
Nice.
Longhorns national championship.
Wow.
Write it down.
I love when Blade's just going to
Arch
pick the
Manning.
preseason favorite every year to win
Arch
it.
Manning, the truth.
Okay.
Which
The
would be a
truth.
rematch of last year's college football playoff.
Absolutely. What happened then? Hike.
Yeah.
Hike.
Here.
300 yards rushing.
Ran through
All right.
Clemson's ass.
I love it. I love it. Who's your Heisman
Hey,
winner?
well done.
Heisman winning's Arch Manning.
Arch Manning.
Well done.
Wow. You know
All
they
right.
want that so bad.
Man.
All right, let's go to mine.
Yeah, let's do it. I
Let's
wanna
do
hear
mine.
this.
Bring mine up here. So we'll start with 12-5. Again, UNLV,
won't. You
really
won't.
excited to see them. But I like Utah here. I think Dampier, the physicality and the depth on the line of scrimmage, especially at this point in the season, I'm going to give Utah the advantage. I think that defense is going to get back to what it used to be. I think they're really going to be able to run the ball well. Give me Utah to beat UNLV, to advance, to play Alabama in the next round. Let's go over to the 11-6. All right, now, this one, Michigan, Texas, with Bryce and Arch, I think this would just be awesome. Everybody would be excited. This is where I think Michigan not being as explosive as they have been in the recent past, obviously taking out last year with what went down. But this is where the lack of explosivity, I think, is going to hurt them. I think Texas has got a little more juice on the outside and can compete with Michigan on the line of scrimmage. I've got Texas beating Michigan to advance to play Clemson. Now, up there in the 10-7, y'all, you watched the show yesterday. You heard how high I was on Damon Williams Jr. I think he has a chance to finish top 5 in the Heisman. I've got him winning Big Ten Player of the Year. The only problem is he's going up against John Mateer, who I'll go ahead and tell you, I got winning the Heisman. Woof. So I'm going to take John Mateer at home. Washington having to go to Oklahoma. Boomer Sooner, they advance to give us a rematch of a playoff game we got back in the day with Baker Mayfield against Georgia. That was just an absolute score fest. Oklahoma advances to play Georgia. Then let's go over to the 8-9. I think Kansas State, again, this is where the front 7 on defense costs them. Getting out of the Big 12, playing a Big 10 team. Not that there aren't good front 7s and offensive lines, obviously in the Big 12 there are, but there's a different flavor of ice cream in Penn State. They've got Allen, they've got Singleton, they brought in Pena, who I think is going to have a huge year from Syracuse, the wide receiver they brought in late to match with some other guys they have. I think Jarrell and them keep it simple. I think the ground game really works here, and the ho-hum Penn State 10-point, 12-point win to advance to play Ohio State in one of those huge Big Ten games that we've seen Penn State always have the opportunity to. So I'll start with 4. Utah against Bama. Rematch of a Sugar Bowl. We got once upon a time where I remember, who was it? Paul Kruger, that big exciting white that Washington had on the outside, and their quarterback was Brian. Was it Brian Johnson? I can't remember. He ended up being the OC at like a big-time place very quickly. I think it's Utah. But I got Alabama, just too much for Utah. I don't think Dampier can throw the ball well enough to get past Alabama. They're not going to big boy Bama up front. So I've got Alabama advancing in the semis. Over in Texas, Clemson. Initially, I had Texas winning this. But the more I look at the matchup and what happened last year and how embarrassed Clemson got on the ground by Texas, I've got to go with Clemson winning this game.
Really?
I think with Peter Woods, with TJ, with all the guys they have on defense, they find a way. Arch turns the ball over a couple times. I think Cade has a big day. Give me Clemson to advance and beat Texas, ending Texas' season. I've got Georgia beating Oklahoma. This is where the road ends for Mateer. This is where I think the depth catches up a little bit to Oklahoma because Georgia can do the dance in the front 7. Mateer's going to make some plays, but I'm going to tell you, I think Gunnar Stockton makes some plays. And I think this is a game where that Georgia wide receiver group that we've been waiting to explode, I think they have a humongous game against Oklahoma. I think this is somewhat high scoring, a lot more high scoring than what people think. Not to the level it was the last time these two teams played. I think that was the Rose Bowl.
One of the greatest Rose Bowls ever played.
Yeah, I've got Georgia advancing to play Clemson. And then on the other side, Penn State, you got to prove it to me, right? You can say you got a boob job, but until I see it shirt off, I don't believe you.
That's
so I've got Ohio State beating Penn State.
I need to see the nips.
They're just, I need to see them. Yeah. I need to see them. Will Penn State fans be happy with that? Probably not, because you're getting beaten by the same teams you get beat by, it seems like, every single time. So Ohio State advances to play Alabama. You've got Georgia advancing to play Clemson. Yep. I've got Bama taking down Ohio State.
Really?
I've got Bama taking down Ohio State.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, 2 titans of the sport. I think the Bama defense shows up.
Okay.
I think they shut down Jeremiah Smith. I think this is where the back end of that defense really, really rears its head. Alabama's got one of the best secondaries in the country.
What does shutting down Jeremiah Smith look like?
He has 125 and 2.
No.
That's what I thought.
People forget, how many yards did Jeremiah Smith have against Notre Dame?
Like 1 catch for
3 yards. Seen it done before. So give me Bama advancing to the national title to face an ACC team. Clemson over Georgia. The legend of Cade Klubnik. But this is where those Clemson wide receivers, Blaine mentioned Antonio Williams. You look at Wesco, the talent, that young talent that's had another year to develop. I think the run game's going to be good enough. The question becomes, is Clemson's offensive line? Can the offensive line at Clemson be good enough to just have a semblance of a run game to let Cade spit it out in the pass game? I think Clemson finds a way in overtime to beat Georgia. Instant thriller in the semis. Alabama versus Clemson in the national championship.
Old school matchup here.
Don't do it.
And y'all know here at Crain and Company, we don't
do
tell you what we want to happen. We tell you what we think is going to happen.
Do it.
And that's why I think Dabo Sweeney, Cade Klubnik, and Clemson lose.
No!
They lose.
Why?
Wow.
They lose.
Rammer jammer.
To Ryan Grubb, Kalen DeBoer,
No.
and Alabama. Cade Klubnik's driving at the end.
Please,
Bama
no.
up by 4.
Okay.
2-minute drive.
Paint the picture.
Cade Klubnik driving the offense down the field. It's working, it's working,
side.
working. Hit as he throws. Ball comes out, interception. Bama picks it, slides down, doesn't even run it back. They knee it out. Unfortunately, my pick is Alabama to be your 2025.
Well, you go
national
talk to your
champion.
wife.
No, I'm just telling you, that's what I think it's going to be.
I will
There you
say
go.
this: Jeremiah Smith had 88 yards and a touchdown against Notre Dame.
He had
Okay, it was one of
there
those.
was one
I know
of the games
I know
where-
what you were
It was
talking about.
what did he do against Michigan? He had a touchdown.
It wasn't the Michigan. It was one of those other plays.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about because we pulled it up a couple weeks ago during their preview.
And I got Mateer winning the Heisman.
how much
I was
did
going to
Lee
pick
factor
Klubnik,
in?
but I got Mateer winning the Heisman.
John Mateer wins the Heisman
John Mateer
Trophy.
wins the Heisman.
All right. Bring it up, y'all. Bring it up. Let's start with the 512 Naval Academy. Congratulations. Thank you for representing the service academies and making
Now
the
get
college football
them.
playoff.
Now.
Georgia is going to destroy you, and that's all right.
It's okay.
They do it to a lot of people. All right. Georgia advances to play Texas for the 3rd time this year.
Oh,
I got Georgia winning the regular season matchup. Texas avenges that loss in the SEC
They'll know each
championship
other.
game. I'll get to what happens in that game in a little bit. The 6-11 matchup, Alabama, too much for Oregon. Alabama moves on to play Penn State. OSU, Illinois. Remember, I have Illinois winning this game in the regular season. Buckeyes are going to take that personally. Okay. Buckeyes, too much. Actually, I think it kind of gets ugly here. Jeremiah Smith and them, they advance to play Notre Dame. 8-9 matchup. Michigan hosting a college football playoff game in the big house. How cool is that? Maybe we play it at night.
Bryce?
Maybe we turn on those lights we finally got. But guess what?
No way, Dave.
Baylor's a little too much.
No way,
Upset
Dave.
Baylor over Michigan to move forward and play Clemson. Michigan rides a freshman quarterback as long as they can. Undefeated Big Ten record in the regular season. They lose to Penn
Baylor?
State in the title game, make the college football playoff. You're playing with house money. That's an awesome year. Can't get out of the first round of the
At
college
home.
football playoff.
I'm honestly shocked you picked
At home.
Look, right? I just call them like I see them. Oh, gut check, you know?
Pure
Okay.
gut? Pure gut?
Pure gut, which means we got Baylor taking on Clemson. Same thing what I just said before. Clemson, just too much. Cade Klubnik, experience roster. Half the team's going to be first-round picks. They move on to the semifinal. Georgia, Texas, round 3 in 2025. Texas finally got over that hump, right? Steve Sarkisian. I'm not losing 4 straight times to Georgia, but guess what? In that 3rd edition here in the college football playoff, Georgia gets it back again. Kirby Smart beats Texas to go to the semifinal. And some people may be bored by Texas and Georgia playing for a 3rd time in a season.
No.
Hey, I think we're seeing a new
pulse,
SEC
brother.
rivalry being created right before our eyes with this right here. So Georgia advances. On the other side of that, I got Alabama taking on Penn State. Penn State finds a way. Signature win for James Franklin. They move forward. OSU,
Bama fans
Notre
would
Dame.
be so pissed.
Rematch of last year's national championship game. Guess what? Marcus Freeman gets to face his alma mater again, and this time he gets over the hump. Notre Dame over the Buckeyes. They move in to the Final Four, which means I got Notre Dame taking on Penn State. Penn State just running at a clip, 250 yards rushing.
They're going to run over Notre Dame.
Much. Penn State moves forward to the national championship. On the other side of the bracket, Clemson, Georgia. This one got ugly in the opener a year ago.
Yeah,
right?
Georgia beat their ass.
Got ugly. Not this time. Not this time.
You're wild.
Clemson says, you know what? We've got a roster to be able to compete, and our quarterback has more experience. Clemson, Penn State, national championship matchup. And even as I started this sentence, I didn't know which way I was going to go. But you know what? He's talking about getting a boob job, and you got to take the shirt off. James Franklin, take the shirt off. Penn State on January 19th will be your national champions. You know what? Kirby Smart just couldn't get it done and win the big one. Till he did what? Till he got it done. Ryan Day can't get it done and win the big one till he did what? Till he got it done, won the Natty. James Franklin just cannot get it done. He doesn't have it in him until January 19th. Penn State, national champs.
Wow. Who's your Heisman winner?
Jeremiah Smith still going to win the Heisman. Here's my thinking on 2 things. One, for the national championship pick, it becomes a simple math equation for me, which is who has the most complete roster with an experienced quarterback. We talk about this in March Madness all the time when we say old guards travel. Penn State and Clemson, to me, have two of the best rosters in the country with experienced quarterbacks, where so many of these other programs have question marks. I'm taking a similar approach to the Heisman Trophy. I think Jeremiah Smith is the best football player in the country.
Yeah.
I'm going to say he's going to win the Heisman Trophy, even though they don't go back-to-back and win the Natty.
All right. There it is. Again, in the comments. Bama, Penn State, Texas. We want to know in the comment. We're going to pin the comment. Who is your national championship winner? Who is your Heisman winner? Regardless, we kicked this bad boy off in 2 days. I'm just so excited. We know you guys are too. Look, we got a big-time Texas-Ohio State prediction show with Josh Pate coming out tomorrow. You are not going to want to miss that one either, because we got a long way until any of this playoff stuff's going to happen. And like the chances, not ready to just go to sleep and wake up and then just go to sleep and wake up again and it'd be game day and everything be so simple. So we're going.
Oh,
now
no.
Texas, baby. That's how you know.
Penn State.
Horns up. Let's go,
Don't let
baby.
me down. Don't embarrass me.
Can win.